Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm gonna play Pendragon. And yeah, that's the second part of the series, and basically all we did until now was playing a single card. Took us about 90 minutes to do that, and not too much more to go here. So, and that was the Conspiratio Barbarica card. And basically what happened is we saw a ton of Scotty and Saxon barbarians raiding large parts of Britain. Although the Saxons weren't too successful because the oceans here, or the sea here, is patrolled by the Romans. Therefore they didn't manage to bring that many raiders onto the land, and most of them were actually defeated by the Roman military. The Scots, they managed to hold their positions on most of the spaces where they did their raids, over here and there and also here, and they managed to grab a lot of plunder here. And because of that, the prosperity in Britain went down quite a bit, and started at 80, and now it went down a lot, and we have the victory conditions here: prosperity plus prestige. That would be the Roman victory conditions, and because of their successful attacks against the Saxon raiders, they managed to gain 4 prestige, but in the end the total prosperity dropped by 14 or something. Yeah, so therefore they lost quite a few points here. And so did the Britons, or the Comitatus. Their control was also much higher, but because the raiders managed to destroy some of their hill forts and I think even a town somewhere, they lost control over some areas of Britain, and therefore they also no longer fulfill their victory condition. Apart from that, there is a military dominance at the moment anyway, and to win the game they don't only need control about so many population, or over so many population, but they also need a civilian dominance, and that is not the case at the moment. To get there, they need wealth minus prestige equal or greater 10. And that's definitely not the case at the moment. So that might be a goal for them. We shouldn't forget that right now every faction only did exactly one thing, except for the Comitatus, who weren't able to do a single thing at all. In this card here, it is actually possible that in a single card 3 factions can do actions. That's pretty unique for the game. Usually only 2 factions per card can do something, and therefore we have now the strange situation that there are actually 3 ineligible factions and only a single eligible faction. And this is the Comitatus, and they will do now their next action here. And I've already mentioned they have this fantastic card here which would give them wealth plus 10, the monasteries. But if they pass now to play that event, then the next turn the Scotty will be first in turn order, and they will never allow them to gain that wealth. Therefore, they also simply can play this turn regularly. And I guess they might actually do the event here. Yeah, that's a pretty good event. So it says Tintagel, and let's see what the playbook says about that event. Let's get some background information here. Tintagel, Cornish Tintagel, the fortress of the Constriction, is known worldwide as the legendary birthplace of King Arthur in the Romance, and its promontory site with its 13th century medieval castle ruins are still a very spectacular tourist attraction. Such a site is very typical of a sea promontory forts found throughout the Celtic world from Brittany to Scotland and Ireland. Archaeology has found evidence of high-status Romano-British occupation from at least the 3rd century AD, including imported Mediterranean pottery and remains of what is believed to have been a royal residence of the post-Roman kings of Dumnonia. Okay, so, and that's exactly what that is, and place 1 hill fort, 2 militia and 2 comitatus in a hills region coastal to Oceanus Hibernicus. Okay, so the ocean is here. 1 hill fort, 2 militia and 2 comitatus. Comitatus are not available yet. So let's see where we want to go. It has to be a hills region. Well, I mean, I wonder if we simply should go back in here. Might be a good idea. Question is, I'm pretty sure they cannot take us out here. Let me see. We have... No, it takes definitely more raiders to destroy the hill fort. So yeah, I think I want to do that. I'm going to place it in here. Bring these 2 guys in here. I mean, of course, they can do another raid. And then they can try to make us some problems here. But if I leave them alone here, they can really establish a strong base there. And I think I don't want to allow that. So that might be a good idea. I'm going to place that here. Mode of mark. And yeah. And that gives me now control over this. Remember, the raiders are ignored when it comes to control. So right now I have more pieces than anyone else because raiders don't count, and I have my stronghold there, so that gives me 1 additional control, and well, I actually would only need 1 more to fulfill at least this control victory condition. Nice, so that was the event here. Now these 3 guys become eligible again, and that one becomes ineligible. So let's go. Oops. I'm not sure why that card is open, but whatever. So here we are. Monasteries. Well, first player would be the Scotty, then the Romans. Now let me think a second. Okay, I think I want to return my raiders and then settle. Now, I'm just not sure where I want to settle. I might considering settling here anyway. I mean, this is my home terrain, the hills. That's where I'm really good in fighting, because yeah, the Scots have that as a home terrain. So it's not going to be easy for the militia, which sucks anyway. And even if they come with Romans, with Roman military, it's not going to be that easy to kill me there. Depends on how many warbands I can get there. So I think I might try a saddle action there first. I mean, I could also try it here. That's an interesting point, actually, because it says if at or adjacent to returning raiders, roll 1d6 for each such raider. But sadly, I see now I don't have any. Well, yeah, I need one space where Scots outnumber all others. That is not the case here, so I cannot do it there. I thought I could then use these raiders in addition to these raiders, and in that way roll a ton of dice. But that's not going to work out. So I'm going to try it up here in Novante. And we have 5 dice there. And I need 5 or 6s. That would be pretty awesome. Okay, so yeah. Do I have more dice? Yeah, there are 2 more. So yeah, we can roll overall 5 dice. Okay, that's not bad. 2 already. Okay, 2, that's okay, I guess. So we can now place 2 cubes. The cubes, they represent the warbands, indifferent to these things, which represent the raiders. Okay, so we have now 2 warbands here. And let me see. Then, if desired, either pay 3 renown to place 1 Scotty warband per Scotty settlement. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Or replace 2 Scotty warbands with 1 Scotty settlement at an empty site. Yeah, you know, that kind of sucks, because if I do that, if I do that, I have my settlement there, but it's empty, and the other guys can easily destroy that again. I don't want to do that. So I guess what I'm going to do instead is, and that's expensive, but still, I can pay the 3 renown, place 1 warband per settlement, which is nothing. Ah, shit, it's also not under Scotty control. Yeah. So that didn't work out too well, actually. Well, I might do another raid. And shit. It's really tricky. Okay, anyway, so that was this. At least I got a few guys now on the board here. And then I want to... Yeah, I'm going to return with the other guys. Transfer all plunder carried by Scotty there to Scotty renown. Then remove all Scotty raiders there. Okay, so that means we can... Wait a second. I think there was actually 1 in here. So we got 3, right? 1, 2, 3. And we got to remove these guys. Okay, and then we got here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Not bad. And here we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty impressive. And another one here. So we got 10 more here that we can add. That brings us to 21, not bad at all. And then I'm going to remove the raiders there. So it's a little hard for the Roman military, for the dukes, to do something at the moment. They cannot train anything. It's completely empty. Interception, well, the only thing to intercept would be these raiders. They could evade, and we can only intercept with these two pieces here. I don't know if that's so great. If I move in there, then these adjacent areas would be nearly completely empty and unprotected against possible raids from the Saxons. And a battle is not possible anyway. I mean, I could of course attack the Comitatus, but that doesn't make a lot of sense here. So more or less the only thing that remains, except for passing, would be marching. And I'm considering doing that. I think I need more troops. If I take a look now over the map, I don't have too many troops available here. You know, I mean, this thing is empty, you know, that means I need someone in here basically to somehow rebuild or give it some protection or whatever. This thing is also very unprotected, and the risk is high that the Saxons will build an outpost there with the next raid, for example. Yeah, then we have this area which is empty. So we simply don't have a lot of troops to cover all the threats here. And therefore, I think I want to take a few more of these foederati. I'm going to invite some Saxons to join me. And I'm going to do that here. Why there? Well, because there are little spaces on the map where I can actually, where I have a vacant stronghold site, and also a Roman piece in there. I could do it here, but this is not connected to the streets, and I kind of want to have it connected to the streets so I can use these foederati to move around a little. So yeah, I think I'm actually gonna place it here, and let me see. So we're gonna, yeah, it's still controlled, fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna place 3 Saxons and 1 matching settlement. Yeah, cool. Okay, so here's the settlement that goes here. And we're going to place a marker there. And then we have 3 Saxon warbands there. There they go. Okay, cool. So, and now we're going to march. And yeah, I think I want to move from here. I want to bring a few guys in there. That's a rich province, and I don't want to lose that completely. I'm considering moving with these guys here from Cavetii to Novante, but problem is, if I do that, they are away from the roads. They are kind of isolated up there. On the other hand, it might be possible that way to prevent the Scots from building a outpost there. So maybe I want to do that. I'm going to place that marker here, and Yeah, let me see. Is there another space I want to go? Could move down here to protect this area from Saxon raids. Hard to tell. Okay, let's do this first. I'm going to move these guys up here, and also here my Foederati are all going to end up here, and that will cost me $2. And then I'm going to bring a few guys of these here to Parisi. And by the way, I pay for the origin areas, not for the spaces where I end up. Okay, and yeah. Okay, and I think I wanna, yeah, it costs me 2 more, by the way. This is getting expensive. And I think I'm gonna do one here, and maybe bring 2 guys following the streets here, down there. Maybe I got a chance to push back the Saxons there. We'll see about that. Okay, so that costs me another 2, and that's it then. So yeah, that was the Roman. What? Is that so? That sucks, man. Oh shit, I was only allowed to do a limited command. Yeah, great. Well, okay. Gotta fix this shit. Okay, everything is back where it started. And I think I'm gonna pass then. So that gives me 3 resources. There's simply not a lot to do. I mean, the only action I have is marching. But with only a limited command, I don't really... I mean, I could move up there, but then again, 3 resources are also not too bad, right? So, yeah, okay. I guess that's okay then. So, yeah, that's was a pass. And the Scots, well, now it would be the Scots. Do they want to do something? I don't think so, actually. They also want to... actually, it's the Saxons. They are first on the next card. I think they're good. So that's it. That's the end of this turn. Now, damn, man, this is kind of strange. Now, are again these guys now all eligible? That seems all a little weird here, but I think... yeah, I think that's actually how it is. So now we have the Omens here, and Lindsay. So the Saxons, although they have a pretty good card here, the Omens, that's a really good card. It would allow you, for example, to become first eligible at any card. You can keep that card, which is also very special for the game. Usually you don't keep any cards. And you just play the card, and if there is at a specific time, and you become then first eligible on the card that just showed up. So that is definitely cool. But now that I managed to establish this little outpost here, I think I want to bring in more people there, and therefore I decided to do another raid. And I'm going to combine that raid with a surprise. So the idea is, if I raid on spaces where that are uncontrolled at the moment, then the Romans cannot do a intercept action there, which is definitely cool. And first I thought about raiding my home territory spaces, which also gives me an advantage. But I think it's even better to do these uncontrolled spaces. And yeah, it's this one here and also that one here. And here I can only get if I use my surprise action, I can then march through Coriel Tauvi to get here. Okay, so first we're going to go with Cornu Vii. And we're going to pay... Yeah, how much do I want to pay, actually? Do I want to pay... Well, I have to subtract 3 because of the fortresses. So if I roll only 2 dice, there is a real chance that I only get 1 person in there, or maybe even none. So I think I want to actually roll all 3 4-sided dice to grab as much of the plunder as possible. And yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, that was probably a good idea. So 6 guys, they move all in there. Oops, shit. Let's do that off camera. It's a little hard to pick these up. I mean, it's okay, but you know, it's okay. Now I want to do it here, and I definitely want to bring in a lot of people in there. That would be cool. Ah shit! I forgot to subtract 3. So yeah, there are only 3 in there. So that's interesting. Okay, but still good enough. Then yeah, we want to bring in a ton of people there. So if we do a return action later, we might have a chance to leave some warbands behind, maybe. Well, that wasn't too great either, but still, it's 4 people. So and we might considering attacking here, although I'm not absolutely sure about it, but it could be a good idea, because that way the other guys would lose control. But still, you know, I'm not sure if I want to do that. It is a tough decision. And finally, I want to do it up there. And this is only 3 guys there. So yeah, these patrolled seas, they really make it hard for me to do some efficient raids. I mean, it is still okay, but it's not as impressive as what the Scots can do when they show up from on the west coast. So now the question is, do I want to fight here? Do I want to try to get rid of this town or not? That's not so easy. If I do it, let me see. Come on. So okay. So that is yeah, that's a town. Okay, it's only a half defense value. So if they would attack, but they have a garrison of 2, so they would destroy 3 of my guys, and then they would destroy 3 more. Nah, that sucks. I would lose a lot of plunder that way. I don't know if this is what I want to do. I don't think so. I feel pretty safe there. It's hard for the Romans to move pieces in. They only have 1 here and 1 there. So they might not want to do that. They didn't do it the turns before. So maybe they won't do it this turn either. And if I manage to return, I might be able to leave a few warbands behind. I think I'll leave the town there and yeah, and don't do an assault. Okay, so the Comitatus would be next, but what they actually do is they're gonna pass, because what they want to do is they want to trade and then rule, because they want to accumulate wealth. Zero wealth just sucks. They want to gain civilian dominance, and to do that they need wealth. But if they do the command right now, they can only do a limited command, and that will not help them a lot. They could do the event, but yeah, as I said, I prefer doing this trading action. So I'm going to pass for now, and then I'm going to be first on the next card. And okay, so now it's the Romans, and I think what they want to do is they're actually going to take the event. So they will take this card. Let's see, it is 43. Due to their limited scientific understanding of the world, ancient and medieval people were often exceedingly superstitious and believed both that gods could take an active hand in their fate and that there were signs that could be read by wise men or women to provide a glimpse ahead of time of these fates. In many instances, key actions were postponed or cancelled if the omens or auspices were deemed unfavorable, while it became even more commonplace to blame any major disaster on the hubris of a defeated leader ignoring divine signs. Okay. So the cool thing about that card is, take this card, discard it during a field battle or assault initiated by someone else to further halve any units you choose. Or, if you are eligible, discard it before first eligible faction acts to become first eligible yourself at the current card. This is pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm going to keep that card, and I hope I can remember that. So now it's actually the Comitatus, which could act first, but let's have a look at the next card first. That's also kind of tempting, but it's tempting to wait for that card, but hey, honestly, we got to do something now. So I'm going to do a I'm going to do a trade action followed by a rule action. So that means in any spaces with towns, wait a second. Yeah, we can add 1 Briton resource per town in target spaces. And all that does cost us nothing. Then in up to 2 selected spaces with Briton control, pay 1 resource to add prosperity. I don't think I want to do that. So I simply take the money. So I guess we can simply count the cities and then grab 1 resource per city. At plus 1 Briton resource per town in target spaces. I can take as many target spaces as I want with towns, so I guess it's simply 1 per city. That's kind of odd. I think we have 7 cities. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that gives me 7 resources. So I'm at 27 now. And I do a rule action now. And I can do this in up to 3 spaces with Briton control. So I could transfer all the plunder that is on one of my units to wealth. I wonder if there is a space where there is any plunder at all. I don't think that is the case. And then I could either convert 2 Briton resources into 1 wealth. I could reduce the Duke's prestige. Or, if region with a Comitatus stronghold, pay 5 resources and discard 1 available refugees marker. Well, there are no available refugees markers at the moment. So I guess what I want to do is I'm simply going to add, I'm going to pay 6 resources and gain 3 wealth this way. So that brings us back to 21. And my wealth goes up. Still a long way to go, but we got to start somewhere, right? Okay, and now it's the Scotty. Are they interested in the tribal war? Well, I don't think so. It's more on the side of it's more on the Saxon side in the east. So I think they could simply, well, might consider another raid, or we'll see. So again, I would only have a limited command here. So I guess what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to pass and grab a resource. I'm first on the next card, so I guess that's a better idea. Okay. Wow. Holy shit, that's a great one here. Hey, I definitely want that card, but I'm not gonna get it. Shit. Set Oceanus Ibernicus to patrolled. That would suck for the Scots. They definitely don't want that. So, or Scotty raids from Oceanus Ibernicus place 1 extra raider each space. I mean, that is amazing. I might considering well, I could pass on that card and hope that the Romans would do something instead. I mean, however, it's very questionable if they would. So they might probably as well pass. Let me see what we got here. Yeah. Tough choice. Well, I think in the end it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm pretty sure the Romans will pass, because if these things are patrolled, or if this ocean is patrolled, that's a big disadvantage for the Scots. So I guess what I prefer to do is I'm going to do a raid as long as it's possible, just one more really big raid. And yeah, because I cannot prevent the Romans from doing that. So, okay. Now would be a great time to have that Omens card, right? Because that would me make first eligible. Then I could do that, but in this way it's not going to be possible. So yeah, I'm going to do a command instead. So now it's the Saxons, and they're going to go with the event Devastation. 64, let's see. In that day and age, hygiene and supply were often very rudimentary, especially for barbarians, and armies often lost more men to illness than to enemy action. The problem was particularly acute with long-distance operations, far from the support of friendly populations in granaries. Similarly, the ability of fortified strongholds to sustain a siege could be severely restricted in periods of shortage, typically prompted by the devastations of war, disorganization of the administration, and/or adverse weather. One of the primary rules of walled strongholds was to shelter the population in case of attack, one of the roles, and empty granaries would make such a mission very challenging indeed. So, yeah, we're gonna play this here. It says empty granaries, and that is a permanent. effect. Strongholds in regions at 0 prosperity have their holding capacity. Okay, yeah, I gotta remember that somehow. So I think I want to place all the... Yeah, I think I want to place all these cards up there. So we got an ongoing effect here. And this one. Okay. That is actually a shaded one here. Let's do it like that. Okay. Hope I can keep that in mind. So, yeah, and that's then already the end of the turn. I mean, now it goes actually pretty quick, and we come to this fluent gameplay, which makes these games really interesting. Okay, so see what we got here. Okay, I mean, yeah, the Romans definitely want that. The Irish Shore. That is event number 18. Despite the endemic level of Irish raiding from across the Irish Sea, Oceanus Hibernicus, throughout the game period, the Roman authorities never put in place a system of coastal fortresses and naval squadrons to protect the western coasts of the diocese, unlike the Saxon shore system implanted in the southeast. This event assumes either that the Romans made the effort to implement such a system against the Scoti, or that the said Scoti found aid and shelter among the least Romanized tribes of these regions. So, yeah, sadly for the Scots, we have now an Irish sea defense, and so that means this ocean is now patrolled, and that makes it much harder. We have here at the moment 3 fortresses, so that means, yeah, we got to subtract 3, and because the Scots... Wait a second. Wait a second, that was bullshit actually. I think I wanted to do a ride. Yeah, I made a short break there, and I wanted to do a ride before I do that first. So, yeah, I forgot to do the ride actually. I forgot to do this Scottish raid before I activated these guys. Because I had a short break there. So before this actually comes into play, I'm gonna do a raid. And yeah, the point is that you can only roll 2 dice, while the Saxons can roll 3 dice. So therefore, if we have to subtract 3 from these dice, from 2 dice, it's going to be very hard to do successful raids, and we cannot go from here anymore. So we might actually consider moving in from Caledonia in the future, simply because there we only had to remove 2, because there are only these 2 fortresses here. We got to think about that, but for now I can do one last raid, the one that I forgot to do, and without that restriction. I can do it in up to 4 spaces, so we're gonna pay $4, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, and try to bring as many guys as possible in. And we can also do a feat, surprise or ransom. We'll see. Okay, so I want to try a raid at Novante. Try to get an outpost there, maybe a settlement in the future. Brigantes, I'm going to do a deep raid there with a surprise feat. Silures and Dumnoni. Okay, so we can roll 2 dice, and for now we don't have to subtract anything. That will change in the future. So first we're going to do the surprise raid here. Wow, that sucked. That's only 2 guys. Okay, I mean, anyway, we're gonna... It will give us 1 plunder, but that is definitely not extremely impressive. Then, yeah, I want to move up here. Novante. Yeah. Oh, holy shit, that's great. 7 guys, and that's exactly where I wanted them. So, yeah, that's definitely cool. And that gives me another plunder. Okay, and then I wanna, where? Down here. Well, let's do it here first. Okay, that's 4. Well, because there are no enemy troops, that could be at least enough to take out... well, maybe I can take even out a fortress. That would be cool, because then the ocean is not so hardly patrolled anymore. That could be an option, but fortresses are pretty good in battle. And last, we're going to try it down there. Okay, that's 6. That should be enough to take out this. Well, I'm not even sure if I want to do it. I mean, maybe I can settle down there, but I don't know. Well, I could consider... Yeah, I think I want to destroy first the hill fort here. And, well, I get 1 of these. So these guys will retreat into the fortress. And then they're going to do an attack. A hill fort gives them, I think, only a half or something. Yeah, it's only a half. And so that means together with the garrison they do 1 damage. So I'm going to lose 2 guys, and then I'm going to lose 2 more guys in the battle. But hey, I get 1 more plunder for destroying that fortress. Oh, actually, what the fuck, man? That's a town. Just a second. It's not that easy. Maybe then it's not going to be possible. Maybe it's not possible then. Let me see. Let me check that. We have a town with 1 guy in. A town... Wait a minute. Damn it. We have 6 raiders. That's not good enough. We would have needed 7. Yeah. We would have needed 7 raiders. We don't have that many. So we cannot take the town. However, we might still do an attack, and if this guy retreats into the town, I think I could do a siege instead of an assault. Let me see. Let me see how that works. I've never done that before. So if all defending units evaded, withdrew, or were removed, attacker may try to wear down a defender's stronghold. Okay, if I didn't do an assault and the attacker has at least as many troops as the stronghold's capacity, and that's the case, that if the defender must remove one unit from inside. Question is, do raiders count as troops? And honestly, I'm not sure about that. It is possible. Is there a glossary? Yes, there is. Very good. Troops, non-raider units. Okay, so it's not going to work. We cannot do an assault there. So yeah, okay. We won't see anything. We're just going to grab one loot then. And that's all we can do here. Maybe we can do another raid there, and then we might consider destroying the city, but yeah, the future raids are going to be harder. Okay, so we can do another fight up here, and this time we might consider destroying the fortress. Let me see how that works out. Boy. So yeah, actually we can do it. We can destroy the hill fort here. That's definitely cool. So they withdraw into the hill fort. And then they're gonna start an attack, and the hill fort has one garrison, so there are 3 units inside, so they do 1.5 damage. So 3 raiders go away, and then 3 more raiders go away, but the hill fort is destroyed, and these Comitatus, or these militia, is also gone. And the cool thing now is that actually here these 2 war bands can now also take the plunder. That's that comes from the hill fort. That's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, very good. That means now that these guys lose control over this area. So this goes down another space. And it looks now that we might have a decent chance to kind of build some kind of Scottish outpost there if they don't really try to fight back. Okay. I also want to do a battle here, I guess. I want to try to destroy this hill fort, probably. Maybe even a fortress, but I mean, you know, it's hard to tell. I mean, destroying a fortress is kind of cool. I think I might want to do that. So there is just one guy in there, right? So during the first action, it will destroy 2, and then during the second action it will destroy another one. But hey, the fortress is gone, and that is definitely pretty cool, because that way I don't have to subtract that much if I want to do a raid from the west for any reason. And let me see, there is still Briton control, by the way. Yeah. And sadly I cannot take out this one. Not enough people left. I think the Romans lose prestige because they lost the fortress. Yeah, they lose 2 prestige. So this goes down. And I forgot to subtract prosperity. I gotta count that. Anything else? No, I don't think so. Okay. Okay, I think that the prosperity dropped down to 55, and that means that we have only 57 prestige plus prosperity left. Okay. And now yeah, exactly. Then, so that was basically this command. Then the black guys did this devastation event, and now this Irish Shore event is played by the Romans, which brings the ocean to patrolled, and then Comitatus could do a command including a feat. Okay, let's see what they want to do. I mean, one option would be to try to protect the town here and maybe the hill fort here. Could muster a few guys. There are quite a few guys out there. On the other hand, we might also consider doing another trade action and pushing the wealth up. Now that the prestige just went down a little bit, maybe that makes sense, but I'm not sure. Okay, I think I want to do a battle and combine that with a reinforce action. So I want to fight down here and here. Maybe also here, actually. I'm not sure about that, but I think, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so the battle itself doesn't cost anything, but the reinforce actions would cost 2 resources per space. So I'm only going to do these reinforcements here and there. And the way that works now is I can do a muster. I can muster militia in the spaces where we had a battle. So I got to spend $2, and I can place 1 militia per town and hill fort plus 1 per population. Yeah, that should be possible. Dip, 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 dip. Yeah, okay. So don't want to do that. Can I fight these guys? 3. So I would have 4. I could have, yeah, it would work out, I guess. So, okay, I can bring in 3 here. Wait a minute, 3? Yeah, 3. And here it would be only 2. But that should be also enough to kill the other guys, because I can strike first. Yeah, we have first field battle. Yeah, step 0 and so on. Step 1 is the calf. Step 2 is melee. That's where we strike the militia. But I see. Militia counts only half in field battle. That's not too great. still, we might want to do it. On the other hand, the warbands in the hills. But these are only raiders. Okay. Yeah. I think I want to go for that anyway. So, the other guys... It's interesting. I mean, the question is if the... Do the Saxons want to evade or not? They would lose half their units, but that's basically it. I mean, they could destroy the rest of the Comitatus. You know, I think I wanna fight a battle here. So first, I'm gonna lose half of these. Oops. But then these guys are also killed. Comitatus counts only, militia counts only half, and therefore we can keep all our plunder. It's true we are massively reduced, and if we return now, it's not that likely that we gain a lot of warbands there, but still we keep our plunder, and that is helpful. Down here, it's a little bit, I don't know, I mean, yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same here. I'm gonna lose 3, and then we're gonna fight, and we're gonna beat these guys. I don't know, maybe it was a little bit of a waste what the Comitatus did here. Hard to tell. On the other hand, they managed to reduce the raiders significantly, and it's going to be much harder for them when they return now to get additional warbands. So maybe it was worth it. However, that did cost quite a bit, 2 resources per space, and I think I did not subtract them. So there we are. Okay. So let me see how many cards. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here. I have to speed this up, otherwise this game will take forever. I think I'm going to load this up at that point, and yeah, I really should not go into that much detail anymore, but it's kind of tempting to do it. There are many interesting decisions to make, and I kind of like that.